Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Hurlingham Club, London, for day 3 of the 2024 AC First 8, the President's Cup. We'll have a full days of action for you today. And as the players warm up on lawn 4, we will hand you over to our team of commentators, and wishing a very good morning to Chris Clark and the team.
Thanks very much, Stephen. Love a lovely day, still day at Hurlingham. I'm joined by Jack Wicks, and Keith Ayton will be with us very shortly. And we've got Robin Brown against Debbie Lines on lawn 4. And Robin is somewhat surprisingly a clear leader with 7 out of 8. And the only game he's lost in the entire event was the other time he played on our televised lawn 4.
Yeah.
Where he made a couple of errors and got punished.
That was a shame, wasn't it? Because he's playing much better than that.
Absolutely.
The viewers haven't seen how well he's playing, but they might well get to see this morning. And all his wins have had TPs, haven't they?
7 triples.
1 TPO and 6 TPs.
Very, very impressive. I said on day 1 I liked the tempo of his swing. He looked like he was really had a slow tempo.
Yeah.
And he's hit a lot of good shots. He hit the long 30-yarder against James Death after James went to 1 back. And I don't think James took croquet again in that game.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a failed sextuple, it was a hit leave. Debbie, on the other hand, got off to a bit of a shaky start. She had a -1 and a -2, and I think she got to 0 out of 5 before she played Harry, who was also on 0 out of 5.
Yeah.
And managed to win +1.
Well, she's had a -2, a -1, and a +1 and a +2.
Yeah.
Yeah, struggling on 2 out of 7 at the minute by the look of it.
I think one of the interesting things about this event so far has been the variety of the scores. Most of the games have been played normal advanced, and we've had lots of variety in the winning score. I'm trying to have a look at this sheet now, and there's probably only 5 or 6 zeros on there.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get it up on the screen so the viewers can see, it's probably not as good standard of play, is it, that we'd expect.
Yeah, there's been some errors.
It's been more interactivity.
So Harry Fisher's had a few zeros, but otherwise there's only 3 or 4 others. And as you say, mention those -1, -2, -4 games.
Yeah.
There've been lots of 3s, 4s, 1s, and entertaining croquet.
Yeah.
Lots of the players still only played 7 games, so Robin has played 8.
There is a fair number of games there without letters as well, isn't there?
Yeah, people have broken down, and when you've played a bad hoop shot, it hasn't gone through. We watched Stephen fail 3 consecutive times.
Yeah.
And Gabrielle looked like finishing a triple yesterday and didn't get that straight rover appeal and ended up peg and peg.
Well, she was saying to us, wasn't she, that when she was trying to decide whether she was going to play that jump, she had some of Keith's commentary playing in her head from last year.
Right.
And I think she was playing Mark Avery, she said, and she had a jump shot to play.
Yeah.
And Keith at the time on the commentary had said that jump shots weren't one of her strong points.
Well, that's probably true.
And so when she was trying to decide yesterday whether she wanted to play that, she could just hear Keith saying that.
Took the safer option. So we've started our live game, and Debbie's played. I think most of the players have actually been playing over to the east boundary, and quite a long way north, really, sort of level with hoop 5. And the standard response has been corner 2. Have you seen anyone lay a duffer tice yet?
We did have a duffer, didn't we, yesterday from Stephen against Samir, I think. Keith's not listening. Fairly sure it was. Samir against Stephen. So
Okay.
Samir had a duffer, Stephen dribbled it and just about reached the peg.
Okay. So it was nice to see a bit of variety. We've particularly mentioned this shot into corner 2 as not being very flat. Robin's made sure he's definitely south of the corner, so he's probably gone off 1.5 foot south of the corner here. and Debbie will just shoot at blue with her black ball, and if she hits she'll take off and move that red ball out into the lawn. And these have been hit quite a lot so far. Sandra's shooting's been pretty reasonable.
She's usually a good shot, isn't she?
Yeah. No, that's just glided past the edge, and there won't be a double from A bulk, but will Robin come up to B bulk and make a double from maybe in front of hoop 3?
In the chairman's, we've got Jack sort of been out leading, hasn't he? But he's fallen back into so he's got some competition now. We've got Jack on 6 out of 8, and David and Hallam also on 6 out of 8.
Yeah, that's looking like a very entertaining chairman's.
So it's David Fuller and Omid Hallam
And Jack Good.
and Jack Good all on 6. But I was thinking if Robin has an average day and wins 2 today, he's in good shape, isn't he?
Yeah, 2 out of 4 isn't a bad result.
Yeah, with 2 to play.
It's still
think-
wide open though, this event.
Yeah, so I think his challenges are Samir is on 5, isn't he? He's got a game pegged down. And
Samir's on 4.
Samir's on 4 with a game
And
pegged
Gabrielle's
down.
on 5.
Gabrielle's on 5, yeah.
Yeah, 2-game lead can go quite quickly. That was a much faster swing I felt from Robin.
It was quite a big miss, wasn't it?
It missed by a long way on the left. And it would be nice to see someone pick up a break from a corner to opening. We haven't seen a lot of that. And it should be reasonably straightforward from here. You do need to rush out of hoop 1 normally to make it easy. So see if Debbie can rush to hoop 1 and get control out of the hoop to rush back over towards the ball on the eastern side. Needs to make sure all those 3 are on the same yard line, so Debbie might move the blue a little bit back in the lawn. An interesting hit. Did you always play for the cannon, or were you just happy to sort of niggle balls out?
So what you're asking, but the cannon before you make hoop 2?
No, before you make hoop 1.
Oh, in this instance?
Yeah, so rushing
Right.
blue behind yellow.
You are tempted, aren't you? But you never get it very often.
I never played for it.
No.
I played to rush it a little bit south, croquet ball out a couple of yards and get a dolly rush to hoop 1.
Yeah, and just play a precision pick up.
Whereas I know a lot of people do like this cannon, and it is very playable. And Debbie's gone for it, and it's close.
Yeah, it looks like it could be, doesn't it? Yeah.
No, yeah, it is a cannon. Okay. So the idea here is she's able to move the black and the yellow around the blue ball,
Yeah.
and she'll try and put black and yellow fairly close together in almost a few millimetres apart, and then we'll expect to move blue well into the lawn on the croquet stroke whilst rushing the yellow all the way to hoop 1. And the normal thing I see people do is underhit the rush to hoop 1.
Oh yeah.
The yellow finishes 5 yards short.
And the
That's
issue
good.
The issue with these is they're very useful, aren't they?
Yeah.
But we don't get to play them that often. So it is something that should be practiced.
Absolutely.
But people don't tend to put their time into practicing.
Yeah, that's one of the best ones I've seen this year. I've seen a lot of them finish level with hoop 5, and she should be able to get a nice rush up towards blue and have an easy pickup now.
It might be worth explaining to the viewers that was a croquet stroke, wasn't it? That
It
also
was.
made a roquet.
Yeah.
So there's no roquet to be made. It was made in that stroke, so she immediately takes croquet from yellow.
And needs to play this fairly wide to get the rush, but she's got plenty of room. That's over hit, but it's runnable. Will she jump this? Or will she just smooth it through?
James said that she ran a very good hoop against her in a 2-ball game towards the end of their game yesterday.
Yeah, you just need to hit it dead straight with a bit of vigour, because because the wire's going to take a lot of power out of that. That's quite good. She's got a rush that she can cut towards the blue.
Oh yeah, so where's she going to be trying to rush it to, do you think? Somewhere near the peg?
I think that's where I'd be trying to rush it to.
I mean, some people might look at it and think, oh, I could try and rush that to hoop 3, couldn't they?
Yeah, I want to be closer to blue, really. And if she's on quite a good rush line now, just to drift south of the blue and get a rush. Ideally, a bit short of where yellow was would have made it easier, though.
Yeah, I mean, she's taking off now from yellow. She's not going to improve yellow, is she? Whereas if it was a little bit further south, she might have been able to push it up closer towards hoop 3.
Yeah, I think I'd still croquet it 2 yards south of hoop 3 from here, just drifting south of blue and getting that rush.
There's still an angle.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you miss blue, haven't you? But it would be much easier from 2 yards short of where yellow's finished.
Yeah.
Very much the sort of peg position we were talking about. So she's actually defensifying the yellow, and I think that makes the angle to get past the blue more difficult.
Well, especially if you go on that side.
And she's really.
Is that the side you thought she was? I thought she was going to come this side.
No, I thought she was going to go south of it.
And would you have gone south even if you were trying to push blue up? Okay.
Yeah. The rush is
more split.
The right direction. I'm disappointed as how far past blue she's gone.
Yeah.
This is twice the length of the brush that I would be wanting from that quite tight position. And she's made the right decision of trying to rush it to hoop 2, which is much easier than corner 2. Now she may do what you were mentioning yesterday about rolling blue behind hoop 2 and approaching hoop 2 from red in the corner, sending red to hoop 3.
And that's fine, isn't it? She's still got a chance of getting a breakout. She just needs to approach hoop 2 from the corner.
And so the benefit of that is if she has a long hoop 2 and fails it, at least she's failed it off a partner ball.
Yeah. And if she does fail it, yellow is, like you say, defensified.
Sort of pass roll here.
Ever tempted to try and get a rush on this red, or you'll just make her okay?
Never on lawn 4 at Hurlingham. And probably not on the majority of lawns in the world. On a really nice American lawn, I might be tempted.
Yeah.
Reg and myself are quite good at taking off from 10 yards to get a rush on a ball on a boundary. Or
even any kind of rush southwards is helpful, isn't it?
Big help. Yeah, just a rush.
Even if it's not pointing towards the hoop. Yeah.
So yeah, one of the things you got to avoid is making sure blue's not in the way of your approach to hoop 2, and it's quite close, but I think it's just about short enough that it's not going to interfere.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, that's a good angle, isn't it?
I've got my technology as well this morning, so I can see comments as they come in. We might be able to do some graphics if there's any opportunities.
So red at least to hoop 3, possibly a couple of yards past it, and black in front of hoop 2. Looks like a great shot, this. That's lovely.
And red has gone sort of 3 yards past hoop 3, hasn't it?
It has. You've still got the option of going back to yellow.
But has she done that in case she doesn't
Correct.
make hoop 2?
It
So
just
she's
lengthens.
lengthened the shot of red if she doesn't make hoop 2.
That's right.
But that does make it slightly more difficult if she does make hoop 2, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and if she does, then I expect she'll go back to yellow and try and approach red from a better angle. Yep, good shot.
So now the striker's ball is going to be going 40 yards in the next 2 strokes.
Absolutely. It's not ideal, but just 2 takeoffs, so that she won't do anything with blue.
I mean, if red was not 3 yards past the hoop, if it was a Pioneer, she could have a roll now, couldn't she, putting out a hoop for Pioneer? And those are the kind of decisions that you're making, aren't you? When you're picking up a break, you're trying to weigh up, right, where do I want to have the balls for my benefit if I make the hoop, but equally at the same time, if I don't make my hoop, I want to make it less likely for the opponent to hit.
That's right.
And she's prioritised making it more difficult for the opponent in that case. But she's now in a position where she still hasn't got a definite break, has she?
No. I think this long takeoff to yellow is the shot to play. You don't want to finish 4 yards short and have to hit it towards the corner.
You don't want it to be on the boundary, do you, when you're taking off from it?
No, but equally, I don't think you need to get south of it. You just need to be
you need to be
next
close, don't you?
South of it's obviously fantastic, but there's always that risk of overhitting it and going off the lawn, which would be end of turn. So let's see how this early touch shot is.
Looks okay.
Yep.
She has gone for south, hasn't she?
Yep, that's fine. So she can just tap that and play a takeoff, moving it closer towards hoop 4.
I mean, she could improve it slightly, couldn't she, by rushing it north and then playing a thick takeoff.
Yep.
So that it ends up in front of hoop 4. Where it is, it's behind hoop 4, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you might want to try and improve it so that you've got an easy roll if you make hoop 3.
Yeah, because blue's not in the sort of normal pivot position. It's very much over by hoop 2 area.
So by the time she's played this shot, she'll have got it over towards hoop 4, but in a better position than it was.
Yeah. Again,
but arguably slightly harder to play than a thin takeoff.
Correct. Again, that's a personal choice as to what you prefer doing. And she's almost lining this up to go up the yard line, and then she's going to play into it quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it just comes in lawn.
And she's definitely going for a rush this time, isn't she?
Yeah. Plenty of room behind red. It's not a difficult shot. And that yellow's
It's a good line.
moved out. It's a really good shot, isn't it?
That's
very good. Just pointing a little bit south, but that'll be fine. A rush either over to blue, or down towards yellow. And I think from where she is now, she's more likely to get a rush to blue.
I think getting the rush to blue is easier as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's a sideways rush rather than a forward rush.
Yeah. Underhit that.
Especially now, approaching from there, it's much easier to get a rush to blue than yellow.
Yeah.
But I'd still be punting this red a few yards south. Some people might look at it and try and sort of roll it almost straight behind the hoop.
No, I'm doing exactly what Debbie's doing and you're suggesting doing, and putting it south, because even a rush pointing at hoop 5 is useful.
Yeah. But like you said the other day, you're giving yourself options, aren't you?
Yeah. It's a good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you were to run the hoop into red here, the croquet stroke's now that little bit easier because it's 3 or 4 yards further south.
Yeah, well, and because she improved yellow before she made the hoop.
Yeah. Nice controlled hoop, got a rush to blue. Little bit south of it. Is she going to take it?
It's quite an extreme cut, but it's close, isn't it? So it's definitely playable.
Yeah, I think you can rush this 4 yards away from blue without too much difficulty. And blue's well in the lawn, so I'll definitely be taking this shot.
Do you think it's worth it though if you can't rush north of blue?
Yes, I do.
You're not going to be able to improve. She's going to end up doing a thick takeoff. I suppose red is better there, isn't it, than where blue is?
I just think you can croquet red 5 yards, 6 yards into the lawn, getting a rush on blue here without any difficulty.
Yeah.
And if she can rush blue to the east boundary, then the croquet stroke loading 5 going to yellow is a much easier one than she would have had otherwise. It's a nice pickup. Had to play a tricky shot. She's playing a sort of takeoff. I would have been playing more of just a wide croquet stroke here.
And this looks like quite a thin takeoff.
Yeah, I'd have moved red, 5 or 6 yards in that shot.
But I mean, that takeoff was much easier than the one she played from yellow to red, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
So if she was going to do a thick takeoff there, she should have done a thick takeoff now.
Yeah, and she hasn't got a rush to a very good place.
No, looks like the end of A-bulk.
Would be much better in the middle of the boundary than she's rushed at to 5, which we never like rushing out Pioneers.
That's fine though.
It's a good shot. Just has to make sure she doesn't go into yellow on the takeoff. She gives herself a foot of gap.
So if she goes into yellow, that's be a bit like a cannon, wouldn't it, that we had before?
Yeah.
That she's made a roquet in the same stroke as playing a croquet stroke.
Yeah. But this time it would be accidental rather than deliberate.
Yeah, and it would be bad, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's where she wants to be, just looking whether she wants to take off south or north of yellow. I'm always taking off north from here. The argument about taking off south is you're more likely to rush it to straight in front, albeit 3 yards back. But I think you can just take off north and get a nice rush directly in front of the hoop.
Yeah, I think I'd always go north of yellow.
And one of the things we should say today is Andrew Gregory's here.
Yeah.
So there's a text commentary. Andrew's fantastic text commentaries, always entertaining to read.
He does try and do 4 lawns, doesn't he? So I'm not sure if he's if that's his plan.
Yeah. So.
Oh no, he's ignoring lawn 4. He says. So he'll be doing 1 to 3.
Okay.
I did wonder this morning when I saw him in the cafe. I said, well, maybe we could just read out his text commentary.
It's lovely to have the written record as well, so you can see how people are playing, how often lift shots are being hit.
Well, the good thing about the text commentary is it's a lot quicker to read, isn't it? If you're going to watch a croquet stream at some point in the future of a game you've missed, it takes a long time, doesn't it? I mean, you can watch it on sort of 1.5 speed, can't you, or 1.25 speed on YouTube?
Well, I'm told by Jenny that all her students watched her at 1.5 speed.
Yeah, I find 1.5 a little bit too quick. I mean, it's okay if you're not listening to anything, but yeah, I struggle to. If you don't need to listen intently, 1.5 is okay.
I think your voice goes higher and squeaky at 1.5 speed, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I listen to most things on 1.25, which is fine.
So she's picked up a break now, and I think Debbie's someone who tends to make a diagonal spread. So that's what I anticipate the leave to be. We saw last time she was on the lawn she made a very poor spread and gave a double target.
I'm fairly sure that Debbie won't be playing super advanced.
No, David and Debbie will be just a normal advanced game.
Robin,
sorry. I've been watching David so much on this lawn.
Well, he is back later.
So it'd be nice to maybe go over to red here.
If anything, I
Doesn't
think
have
she's
to.
approaching from a bit too close there. Do you think?
Well, for James, he'd be very happy just for playing a nice stop shot, getting blue well clear of the hoop. Debbie hasn't quite got as good a stop shot as James, so there is an argument to be fractionally further away. She's still got a rush out of it.
She's done well.
That's good. So black won't have to move as far as it might have had to do on its way to yellow now.
And is she going to be trying to switch the balls around now, or is she's going to be having a partner at 1 back, isn't
Partner
she?
at 1 back, so it's going to be one of those rushing the opponent back to the peg after 2 back.
Yeah.
Obviously she could make an NSL, but I think it'll be a diagonal spread with an opponent ball rushed back after 2 back to the peg. You do really want to rush out a hoop 6 here, because otherwise it's not easy to get a 2 back Pioneer. So I'm definitely wanting a rush towards corner 2. out of the hoop. It overhit that. It's gone well past the hoop. That's closer to the boundary than one back. Not a good shot.
So we can pull up what a diagonal spread looks like in a minute.
Okay, so yeah, Jack's done one of his little animations. In that top right hand corner you can see Debbie's going to have a rush with blue on black, and all three balls more or less in a line diagonally across the lawn.
Yeah.
Red at the peg. I don't actually know which ball's going to hit the peg. It could be red or yellow.
It could be red or yellow, because in this case it doesn't really matter, does
No.
it? Both of the balls have hoop one, so red and yellow are interchangeable.
Yeah.
But by having red in that position, it means it can't hit yellow, doesn't it?
Yeah. So
And
the
it
peg's
also
in the way.
means that the backswing is hampering shooting red at blue and black.
Yeah, so once again she's done something we don't recommend, which is rushing a ball out. And you can see if that ball had gone an extra 2 yards, it wouldn't be a very good two-back pioneer. And you know, now she can play a thick takeoff and move it fairly close to two-back going to red. So I think it now will be the yellow ball at the peg.
Morning all.
Are you online now, are you?
Yeah, I'm back.
Welcome, Keith.
Had to do some emergency emailing.
Ah, right. So I haven't checked my email this morning, and I think you've told me some quite big news in the world of croquet.
Yeah, apparently there's a problem with the upcoming GC World Championship.
So for anyone who hasn't
We
looked
don't
at their
know what
email-
it is, but the organisers have suspended operations for now, and there's going to be an announcement made hopefully no later than Tuesday.
Yeah, so for anyone like me who hasn't actually booked all of their flights yet, just hold off for a little while,
Yeah,
and we'll see what develops over the next couple of days. But hopefully everything will be okay. I know I was looking forward to the tournament, but also the venue. It's great to go to a venue you've never been to before.
sure.
And 24 lawns.
Yeah, sounds
it-
exciting.
You know, it's twice as big as
Yeah.
any other club in the world.
Yes. I can't actually imagine what that looks like, 24 lawns. I've
Big.
seen 12.
Big. I mean, I don't know if you remember the 1994 Worlds at Carden Park, which was on this vast open green space where you could probably have fit 10 lawns, and they only put, I think, 6 or 8 out. But it was a huge green area, wasn't it? And this must be double the size.
Or more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I've just been trying to, I have hopefully contacted the English players that are shown on the WCF website as having places in the event.
Yeah, but for anyone from any of the other countries, you know, just be aware of that. Just hold off for any final flight bookings for a couple of days.
And that could be quite a big issue, couldn't it? Because obviously the WCF can contact players
Yep.
and associations, but there might be some people sort of planning to go that don't know players. Maybe they wouldn't get a communication to say it had been cancelled.
Yeah, I know Debbie will be doing something as soon as she's able to, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it'd probably be on the WCF website, maybe
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. But let's cross our fingers that all goes smoothly and goes ahead. Meanwhile, Debbie's got more or less the balls out.
Not ideal for Debbie to Debbie's the secretary, isn't she?
It is really difficult once you start doing different roles administratively in the sport, and you're trying to play competitive croquet at the same time.
Especially at this sort of tournament.
Yeah. Just not being able to focus as well or have something in the back of your mind can make playing that little bit more difficult.
And I mean, she's doing it all sort of voluntarily, I guess.
Yeah, there's a very small honorarium.
So so it's not like it's a really well paid job.
No.
It's sort of doing it for the good of the game.
And that's virtually 99% of the people in croquet are
Yeah.
volunteers, and I was talking to David Openshaw this year about Nottingham, which is a club in England I'm a member of, and yeah, they must have 22, 24 people doing active work at the club. It's not just a committee of 5, or which isn't most croquet clubs.
Yeah.
It's so active, and they're doing youth development and diversity, and it's fantastic. So building the membership now, and I think it's probably tripled in the last 15 or so years. So really good, and they've now got 9 lawns instead of 5, and the 5 old lawns are being dug up at the moment and re-levelled.
Oh right,
So
yeah, because they did that
hopefully-
with the bowls.
And they're quite
courts,
good, the
didn't they,
bowls.
on the other side. Well,
So-
they were bowls. Now they're
Croquet
proper
lawns.
croquet lawns now, aren't they?
So yeah, hopefully by June time next year, those new 5 lawns will be operational, if we get a nice autumn and the grass grows well. So this is the position we thought Debbie was going to finish in, with an opponent ball at 2 back, that she's all rushed back to the peg.
Yeah.
And again, she's punted that too far. This is travelling halfway to the corner again. So both that croquet stroke loading 1 back and 3 back, she's overhit by some way.
We've got Patricia Duke Cox joined us this morning on the stream.
So Patricia's president.
President of Croquet England now. And Tim is from NSW,
New South Wales.
Australia.
Tim Murphy, maybe.
Tim Dimmitt.
Oh,
Oh, welcome,
not
Tim.
Oh.
I hope you're watching.
And he does got a question for us. He's wondering about what TPOs and OTPs mean.
Okay, so the TP is a triple peel, so peeling the last 3 hoops. When it has an O attached to it, so TPO or OTP,
Yeah.
it means you've peeled the opponent ball through their last 3 hoops, 4 back, Penalton Rover, or 10, 11 and 12, as
Yeah.
some people call them, and pegged it out at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that is it leaves you with 2 balls against their 1 ball, and you can join up and they can't join up for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So it gives you a tactical advantage. And TPO at the end of it means that you've won the game,
Yes.
having performed that manoeuvre.
Yeah.
Whereas OTP means the other person's won the game. The ball with the person with the 1 ball
Yeah.
has ended up winning. And in the old days, the TPO won a reasonable amount of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably over the last 20 years, it's reduced from maybe 70% to 60%.
Yeah. Probably because people are better at single ball strokes now,
Absolutely.
mainly due to better mallets, I guess.
Better mallets is the key reason.
So if you were watching yesterday, Tim, you might have seen James did a QPO, which is essentially the same as a TPO, isn't it? But with an extra peel.
Yeah.
So he peeled the last 4 hoops.
Quadruple, yeah.
Yeah. So he then won that game, so he got a QPO. If he'd have lost, Samir would have won, and it would have been an OQP.
Yeah.
So let us know if you understand why players are doing triple peels. Then great. If you need help with that, let us know, and we can explain that too.
So why is it called a peel?
Well, that goes back a long way in time to a gentleman called Walter Peel, who was a leading player, and we have various things named after him. We've got the Peel, which is probably the most important thing, but we've got things like the Peel Memorials as a tournament. And Walter Peel, you might have to help me out here, Keith, but I'm going to be going for about 1900 to 1910. I'm wrong, am I?
I don't know. I'd have to go look that up. It's before my time.
Right. So Debbie,
But he liked peeling,
he did.
and hence he's actually lent his name to something that even appears in the laws of croquet now.
Yeah, it's fantastic to have that sort of historic link. Debbie's now switched because she'd put out that deep 3-back pioneer. She couldn't get blue all the way back to the peg for the diagonal spread, so she's now having an NSL. So she's going to put red behind hoop 4 so it can't be hit from the end of A bulk, and then she'll rush blue off the east boundary about level with hoop 5, and then she'll go to yellow and move yellow up southwest of hoop 2. So not what she was planning to do, but still a perfectly good leave. Can you think of any other people who've got their name attached to the sport from a historical perspective?
Well, I was going to ask, what would a Clark be? Do you then go Clarking?
I don't think that there is anything.
What about
Probably talking too much over commentary. We mentioned yesterday the Aspinall peel, didn't we?
We
Yeah.
did. Nigel Aspinall, great player from the 60s, 70s and 80s.
Is there no more sort of tournaments that are named after people?
Definitely, I think there are tournaments. I'll try and find,
God.
and cups as well. Obviously, people donate trophies. The Hogan Roll, after Joe Hogan, the first ever AC World Champion
Yep.
in '89. That's a roll out of corner 4, sending a ball to hoop 3, going to a ball at hoop 2. So a big shot.
Well, I mean, there's an obvious one in MSL, isn't there?
Morm standard leave, but arguably that's a little bit dodgy because lots of people did that before Dave did it.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's only called that because that was literally his.
He did
what
it every
made.
single time,
Yeah.
didn't he?
So
Yeah.
that's why it's.
so certainly
his name, but
people
he didn't
like
invent it. Did
Eric Solomon were doing that in the President's Cup in the 70s.
He? Yeah.
And you know, yeah, it was a well-known leave.
Solomon Grip.
Solomon Grip, very good. And interestingly, people who don't know why the Irish grip's called the Irish grip, it was about 3 Irish players from about the 1910s to 20s, and that was O'Callaghan, Duff Matthews and Cyril Corbally. And you might even see a Corbally mallet if you go to a club like Cheltenham, which is a beautiful thing made out of lignum vitae, and quite often, interestingly, with a head that's longer than 9 inches.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it was available 110 years ago, and then for some reason we went back. But yeah, I often see a Corbally that's just a bit longer than 9 inches. A beautiful piece of wood.
Duffer Tice.
That's Duff Matthews, the Irish player that came over in about the sort of 1910s to sort of First World War era.
We've got a Wicks.
No.
No.
Well,
Not unless you're buying stuff.
yeah. Yeah, and there's a few suggestions in the chat. Spencer L, Wiley Peel, Morm Error.
Yeah, Morm error. That's a Morm thing. That's doing all the peels of your triple and then breaking down. Normally at 3 back.
Yeah.
So she's not got this where she wants it at the moment. Blue isn't on the boundary,
It's falling apart, isn't it?
and she hasn't got to rush over towards the western side boundary. So she's going to end up having to thick take off it there. And I don't know whether she's able to leave a rush for blue without red having a potentially hittable shot. So it's going to be a thick takeoff, and you want to move yellow a good 5 yards in this shot. Don't want to leave it too close to B-bulk. So I want to move it, I'm going to move this probably 8 yards. Yeah, that's fine over there. Now the problem with playing this last shot from 3 or 4 yards further away than you want is if you dribble back to blue, you might leave a double for yellow. If you overhit it, you might leave a double from A-bulk. If you underhit it, you might leave a long rush. So it's not as accurate as where she would have liked to have been. Just checking out the sort of how close to blue she has to get to avoid red being able to hit black. And when you're having to get as close as her mallet is, these options of double targets from A bulk, yellow and B bulk all come into play if you miss hit the shot.
And this is we'd expect her to be under more control and have a better leave than this, wouldn't we, usually?
Yeah.
Sort of plays into what you've been saying about the standard of leaves not being what we'd expect.
It simply isn't good enough for a 4-ball break. And yeah, Debbie probably hasn't got the excuse of, oh, I've been playing Super Advanced for 3 years. Debbie generally plays normal.
Oh, there you go, Keith. There's something for you to moan about.
I'll hold back for now.
Okay.
Yeah, lots of helicopter noises and plane noises at Hurlingham.
Oh, I was referring to Debbie going to check where the end of A bolt was.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't want to leave the sort of quarter of a red and either blue or black in the background.
there'll have been hundreds, or at least, yeah, I would say there's been hundreds of OQPs, hasn't there?
Yeah, lots.
Ewan's asking if there's ever been one. They're not that uncommon now, are they, in Super Advanced? An OQP.
Oh. Yeah.
And there've been plenty of OSXPs as well.
Yeah.
I mentioned Gail Curry, one of the top lady players in 80s and 90s, and she had her first sextuple, and it was a sextuple peel on the opponent.
It was, yeah.
And
Did she win? I
No,
think
she lost. I think
she lost.
I think she lost. I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure.
This is not good now, because she's leaving her rush the wrong way round, isn't she?
Correct.
She wants to be playing blue on the next turn.
Yeah, and blue needs either a rush to hoop 1 or yellow. And as it is, it's not going to have a rush to anywhere. So that's going to leave red the opportunity to play a long lift from corner 3.
Or corner 1.
Or corner 1, but corner 1's more aggressive.
Only slightly.
Oh, I fancy taking off the ball in corner 2 and just rolling a hoop 2 pioneer out going to yellow. I don't think that's difficult. Whereas if red's in corner 4, I think taking off behind that's more difficult. So we'll see what red and yellow choose to do. They've got a lift, so they can pick up either of their balls and take it to either bulk line, or they can play it from where it lies. But I can't see any double target, which I think is the good thing about the leave. I don't think Debbie's remembered to put her yellow clip, sorry, not the yellow clip, her black clip on 4 back. So
If you're going to lift yellow, there's not much difference between missing the short lift and the short lift shot and the long lift shot, is there really?
I always found it a lot easier if they missed the short lift.
You think it's much easier, do you?
Yeah, I'm gonna be able to pick up the break with precision.
You're going to brush it up here,
Yeah,
up towards corner 3 area, and play the split shot, putting it to hoop 2, going to blue.
yeah. Perhaps precision's the wrong word when you're playing a big croquet stroke that big. But the other thing about shooting at blue is you might go off south of black, and that gives a very easy finish. Rush ball to corner 4, croquet to hoop 2, going to blue, rush blue on top of yellow, and you're going to have a 1 foot rush pointing at hoop 1 with a ball at hoop 2 and your partner in the lawn. So this is the shot I expected.
And this is the standard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Standard response.
And Robin will be expecting to get another shot if he misses this. That's good. That's good. It goes the other way. That's dead and
Sharp. Well, hopefully we'll get to see some of Robin's nice play now.
Yeah, tournament leader.
Yeah, and I think if you compare the weight he hit that shot at compared to the weight he hit his previous shot, 4th turn, I think he's hit that more gently and more smoothly with a slower swing. And that's what I liked about his play on day 1, that the tempo of his swing was so good. And we mentioned earlier that Robin is one of the people who loves TPOs.
Yeah. Well, he's had one, hasn't he? It's definitely on there if he can make hoop 1.
Yeah, because unusually you normally hit the hoop 1 ball,
and that's because Debbie left the balls
the wrong way
the
round.
other way round to what you normally leave.
So normally the TPO ball, the 4-back ball,
It's
ends
the
up
in-lawn
going
ball.
to hoop 2.
Yeah.
And it's much more difficult to get a TPO. Potentially another reason why Fulford would take the short lift at the in-lawn ball as well. so he would get a standard TPO out. Nice rush, should have full control to send that to hoop 2 and get a good rush to hoop 1. I anticipate him going all out for the TPO.
And just the way he's walking around, he looks very settled, doesn't he? He looks comfortable, he looks confident.
He does, yeah. I mean, he always plays at a nice steady speed, which is a nice thing about Robin. It's it's nice. It's not slow.
Oh, it's not slow, but he's not rushing.
No.
He's not. He just looks like he feels like he should be on the lawn. He's.
Yeah. When I was playing my best, I felt as if I was presenting the mallet to the ball over the last few inches, rather than hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
And it just sort of everything just smoothly worked into place.
It looks like he's got a rush to hoop 1.
Yeah. Hasn't quite cut that as much as he wants, so he's a couple of yards away.
He'd have hoped to have rushed closer to hoop 1 than that, wouldn't he?
And again, these angled approaches, if you can just feel your mallet approaching the ball and it just glides off. And that was when I was playing my best.
Approaching from this side and trying to keep a rush to this side is slightly more difficult, isn't it? Just don't know if he's going to be trying to rush to black.
Yeah, and that's a much easier hoop than Debbie had.
It's not straight though.
Not straight, but significantly less angled than Debbie's. And as long as you hit this reasonably firmly, you should be okay. Just missed the near wire.
Shot.
Yeah.
Nice shot.
Oh, very nice.
He's got to rush over to black, so he'll have all the balls where he wants them for hoop 3.
And when you're playing well, those sort of things happen, don't they?
They do.
The balls just go where you want them to go.
They do.
And when you're not, hoop 1's one of the most frightening areas in the world.
I mean, he could have easily run that, couldn't he, and not had a rush that he could take towards black.
Yep. And some people send yellow to hoop 4 here, and I just think it's wrong.
Yeah.
Lots of times we discuss different options, and I think it's wrong
You
to
definitely
send...
want it at hoop 3, don't you?
Yeah.
There's no reason not to have it there. I mean, I'd be putting a hoop 3 pioneer out and then rushing black across past blue to croquet it back again.
Absolutely, Jack. Try and move the red as little distance each shot as you can, and croquet your pioneers out.
Yeah. So I think he's going to be going for this, isn't he? If he gets through hoop 2,
Yeah, absolutely.
definitely going to be going for a TPO. He hasn't got a
That's fine.
very good rush by the look of
That's
it.
fine.
Looks like it's pointing towards hoop 1, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think you can cut it to the peg.
Yeah.
Peg high, I meant, on the boundary. But that's a nice tempo speed of the swing. Really good for people to watch different players and see the speed of swing.
Might struggle with that sort of swing on a slower lawn.
Absolutely, yeah. But lovely lawns at the moment here, and you can just stroke the ball around. Robert Fulford, when he's practicing, he uses a metronome and he sets the pace. I think I've been asked in the past what speed it is, and that Paddy Chapman knows and I can't remember, but what is the speed of the metronome that Robert uses? And to be honest, it's going to be different for everybody depending on the weight of their mallet.
I think Paddy is watching this, so he'll probably be able to tell us in the comments. Or if Robert's watching, he might tell us.
Yeah. So he's got that black over at hoop 3, ready to start the TPO. Needs a little bit of a cut to hoop 2.
So what would you say? How do you know if you're in good form? And I don't just mean getting good results. I mean, you feel that you're playing well.
Oh, it's completely different. You can have good results and still think you're not playing well. Yeah,
sure.
I think that's another skill that the top players can try and aspire to. Win games when you don't play well. He didn't quite run that as far as he wanted to. It's interesting because it's very much different depending on the code of the game.
Right.
Because for me, just being able to know at AC that I was going to rush the ball within a yard of where I was trying to rush it. So, you know, when I was playing well, I could rush from the east boundary to hoop 1 and get within 4-5 feet of the hoop. Normally not short of it as well, so in front or just past it. And if you can play rushes like that, oh wow, that's his hoop 4 pioneer, and it's gone through penultimate and not gone to hoop 4, so that's going to put the TPO in question. Is he going to still TPO with that as his hoop 4 pioneer? You can't really get a great hoop 4 pioneer out with yellow because he hasn't got a rush on it to corner 3. So he's going to still have some work to do. But yeah, that sort of, can you rush the ball consistently where you want it? I always felt my croquet strokes were good.
And what about in GC then?
GC for me, the key thing is, can I swap from mid-paced clearing at 7 yards to hard clearing and hard hoop running? So have I got both a mid-pace swing and a really powerful swing, and can I swap between the two with ease? Again, I was always a very good positional player. That is what is completely undervalued. People watch Mohamed Naz play and they marvel at his power. If you actually watch him play and look at how good he is positionally, then you rarely see him play a shot and not get position. And Stephen Mulliner won multiple GC tournaments last year, mainly due to the fact that he was the best positional player. But yeah, I'm always fancying playing good positional shots, but can I swap between hitting it straight at mid pace and straight hard pace? That's one of the most difficult skills. I think Callum Johnson's very good at that. That change of pace. And it's a difficult skill to have.
He's in a bit of trouble now, isn't he?
He's got more work to do, hasn't he? He's going to have to rush blue to hoop 4 from 20 yards away.
He's going to put out a hoop 5 pioneer from quite a long way away.
Or he may decide to not even put it at hoop 5.
What's he going to do then?
Some people would look at this as a chance to get an early penult peel.
Yeah.
Well, that needs to go.
Yeah, he's not going to get that to hoop 5, is he?
He's got a hoop in the way of getting the rush now.
He has, so it's going to be a longer rush to hoop 4 than he wanted, or a more angled one.
Do you think, going back to form, do you think form is more volatile at AC or GC?
I
Or
think
is there a little difference?
I think both codes, the main important thing is your core ability, and I don't think that changes very much. I think both codes, we are reasonably volatile, apart from right at the top in terms of day-to-day performance, and probably at the top level you're more volatile at GC than AC, because you're having to play more difficult shots. At AC, the good players play a couple of moderately difficult shots to start with, and then a series of maybe 50 or 60 fairly easy shots just to keep it going. At GC, your opponent keeps getting in the way. They keep moving you out of the way and trying to block you, and you've got to keep playing. Oh dear, this is under hit. This is really difficult. That's a long hoop.
Might not be possible.
It is possible, but it's long.
Well, it's okay. It's clearly possible, but like you say,
You've got to be confident to take this on.
yeah.
He could join up with yellow. Yeah, he's failed the hoop.
And he's failed it in quite a nice way.
Blue
in the
can.
sense that blue, well, it
Got about a quarter of it.
No, maybe.
Black's got a lift because black can't hit, I don't think, any of the other balls on the lawn.
No.
So black could shoot at blue from A bulk and make 2 hoops and a very powerful leave.
I was just thinking about the position of this yellow. If we can get the graphic up.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if he should have left yellow close to 6 there.
Yeah. That's what I was suggesting.
That's what you mentioned, isn't it? Because where he's put it now, if he'd have got to this kind of position, having made hoop 4, he's come up, he's rushed black across into peeling position, and if he'd have left yellow somewhere around hoop 6, it would have been easier, wouldn't it, to get a rush to hoop 5?
Arguably.
But where he's put it down there, it's red ball's moving further
Yes.
in the peel stroke.
Yeah, exactly.
In the potential peel stroke.
I think, one possibility might be that you ignore black completely
You could do, couldn't you?
and come to it after hoop 5.
But it's not much better there in that case than having it at 6.
No. I think I would have left at 6.
Yeah.
So Debbie's done what we said. She's asked Robin, can I have a lift with black, because black can't hit everything.
So that's not an advanced lift, that's a wiring lift.
That's a wiring lift, so it would happen at handicap play.
And why does she get that?
Because black has been put there by her opponent,
Yeah.
and it's the first stroke of her turn, and black can't hit both sides of any of the other balls.
Yeah.
So she might be able to hit yellow on the right hand side, but she couldn't have hit it on the left hand
So
side.
she didn't have the opportunity with black to make her okay, did she, in her first stroke of the turn?
That's right.
And that's why she's got a wiring lift.
And what she'll be trying to do here, if she hits the blue, is make 2 points, make penultimate, make rover, probably crosswire Robin's balls at hoop 1 and lay up in corner 3.
Yeah. But she couldn't have taken that lift with blue, could she?
No,
because blue was open on yellow. It can't hit both sides of red, and it couldn't hit both sides of black.
But it had
But
yellow.
it could have hit yellow.
Yeah.
So you can only take a wiring lift with the ball that's wide.
That's
she
right.
couldn't have chosen to lift blue.
Yeah, that's correct.
Whereas with an advanced lift, you can lift either ball, can't you?
Absolutely. So different wiring lift to a advanced lift. So she would have liked to have played blue, wouldn't she? Because she could have finished with
to
blue.
play blue. Yes.
And it was a quarter of a ball open on red, but this is a full ball at quite short distance, and she will get a very good lead out of it. And Robin will be left with a 30 plus yarder. Very risky. Now, can red run the hoop?
Or hit black.
Well, she's missed it on the safer side, I think, in terms of red potentially being able to hit it. I mentioned on day 1 that length of Croquet is Debbie's strength, and if you watch the follow through, look at the mallet, it's almost gone at 90 degrees by the time she's hit it. And you really want to be following through in an approximately straight line. You watch Robert or Reg play, and the follow through goes through straight. So what can Robin do? He's got an angled hoop.
But Robin hasn't got a wiring lift in this case, has he?
Yeah, because he's responsible for red.
Yeah. So even though he might be able to hit black, might he? But
Well,
if
black's south of the hoop 4.
yeah. So if he can't,
So I'm not sure he can.
no. So he can't hit either side of any
And
of
if
the
he
other
could
balls.
run the hoop, he'd have run it by now, I
Yep.
suspect.
So he's looking at red at yellow, which is safer, but I'd play yellow at red, taking it as the last shot. It's not that long. It's aggressive, but he's shooting well. Just put that last approach
Well,
out of your mind.
Red at yellow, it's not easy, is it?
No, you got to play
It's
through the
horrible.
hoop.
Yeah, it's horrible.
So yellow at red is not a long shot at this standard.
He's not going to be tempted into putting red somewhere on the boundary, is he?
I don't think you want to be defensive here.
It doesn't seem to achieve much, does it? Because if red hits blue, like you say, it's just going to make 2 hoops and have a leave.
Yeah, blue hitting red is, or black hitting red is just a a 2-hooper.
Black hitting blue.
Blue, yeah. Now I was thinking
We had this
about,
problem last time, didn't we? We're not colourblind. We just
I was thinking about moving yellow rather than red as a more defensive option.
right, yeah.
Red might rush to 1.
I think it does,
Yeah.
adequately.
So,
I don't think you can not shoot here.
well, what if you just well, where can you put red? You could put it over on the west boundary somewhere.
That doesn't
Admittedly,
help
it's going
though,
to be
does it?
quite near hoop 1.
That
but-
does give an option of blue hitting black, doesn't it?
And finishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got to.
So we
You
should
need a
probably,
rush on yellow, don't you?
You do. You got to play a good croquet stroke,
Yeah.
or approach shoot 1 from the boundary. So Robin's lifted his mallet up horizontally, and that's to call for an umpire.
Missing this is game over.
Should be. So an umpire rather than a referee is just to watch on a sort of factual, does yellow hit the red?
Looked like a good strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
And I just think he's shooting well.
Yeah.
He's shooting well.
It was possible there for Robin to miss the red, hit the hoop, and potentially the red might just have wobbled because it might have been very close to the hoop. So that's why James was watching it.
And he shot at red there because it's the shortest shot, isn't he?
That's
Somebody's asking about yellow at black, but that was longer and probably makes it easier, doesn't it, for black?
Yeah, he had both sides of red to hit.
Yeah.
And now we'll see a DPO rather than a TPO, so a double peel on the opponent. You still got to make a hoop 1 and pick up the break.
That was actually quite a nice shot there, getting a rush on black.
It was very useful.
Because playing this from the corners much more useful than playing it from where black was on the yard
Yeah.
line.
You can get black a lot further north, can't you? Towards 2.
Mind you, you're coming on a better
Better rush
line
line.
towards blue.
That was a parrot that just flew ahead.
I didn't say it.
It was a parrot.
No. That's not great, is it, to be honest?
No.
Did you do that on purpose?
What, talk about the parrot?
Twice.
Well, I just thought it was very unusual to see a parrot flying in London.
I just wondered if you're parroting.
Ah, I see what you mean. So I don't think there's anything wrong with prioritising the yellow and not sending black to hoop 2,
He'd be disappointed with where he's rushed to though, won't he?
but he didn't get a very good rush, and he hasn't rushed it particularly well. And last time he had approach from here to hoop 4 from this distance, he underhit it quite badly. Now I think he's doing something quite intelligent here. He's looking, can he croquet blue somewhere where it might be wired from black were he to fail hoop 1. And if that's the area you're planning to send blue anyway, then why not look at exactly where it needs to go? The key obviously is getting yellow in front of the hoop.
Well, Lindsay's back on the stream, so
Where's it gone?
I think that's
Too
past.
far?
I think that's too far.
Lindsay's back on the stream, so she must be enjoying it to a certain extent, and she says it was a parakeet,
I stand corrected. You're probably correct there.
of which there are thousands in London,
Are there really?
according to
Wow.
Lindsay. Yeah.
Well, you live and learn. So he hasn't got the wire on blue and black either. So this is quite a bad position. He's going to have to go to a corner. The fact he's looking over here suggests
What you
Blue-
saying? He hasn't got the wire, or he has?
I don't think. I think they're open north of the peg.
Right.
So I'm very surprised he's thinking of going back to red.
Well, I don't know. He's looking at the.
Is he just looking at where blue misses black to and trying to put some pressure
No,
on
he's
Debbie's
looking at red, isn't he?
5 yarder?
He's looking at blue missing red, I think.
Really?
That's what he looked like to me. No?
Turn out.
Oh, sorry.
Well, maybe they are. I'd be rather fortunate. I
We
think.
might get a camera from corner 2,
Well,
might
he's-
help us a bit.
Oh,
He has. He's got the wire. I thought black was north of the peg, and it clearly isn't. So, well played to Robin. He went and looked at the position. He
did.
played an approach,
He did.
and he got one of the balls right.
Well,
Not the important one, but second prize.
that's the sort of. I'm going to call that luck.
Are you? Okay.
I'm going to say, but it is the sort of luck that a winner needs.
It is, yeah. So, this sort of voodoo lawn 4 curse appears to be continuing for Robin, who's probably his second worst or worst game of the tournament.
This is probably worse now, isn't it,
It
than his
is.
first one?
James Death and Harry Fisher have already finished and retired to the bar.
So we have to assume James has won that.
I think he did, yes.
Yeah.
And Jamie Birch has been cited, but he's so far not come over.
Oh, you might
Yeah.
get him on commentary a bit later then.
Yeah, and I think later on we'll get Nick Parrish as well.
So I've heard.
So that'll be good. I'll be disappearing, get some different voices in. So again, taking the shortest shot.
I'd like you to go home early, Chris. That's usually Keith.
So black at red, the shortest shot. Now I'm afraid I forgot my medication, so my legs are constantly pulsating at the moment with their muscles twitching. So I need to go back home and get some medicine.
That must mean your wife usually makes sure it's packed.
And indeed, yes, that
She's-
is my own incompetence.
Gone back to New Zealand, hasn't she?
Yeah, I did pack it. I packed all in one location, and
Right.
then I forgot to put it in my bag.
Ah, right.
She doesn't look comfortable over this at the moment.
No.
No. It's not a must hit though, is it? Not quite.
Not quite. Oh wow!
Ooh.
Well, that's going to give Robin a quandary.
Could easily play red now, couldn't he?
Red is a little bit shorter, isn't it? Red at yellow gives you a
Yeah, I was
easy
thinking,
break.
I was thinking red at yellow, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the shot I'm going to take. Red at yellow.
James Death result hasn't appeared on Croquet scores yet.
So does he want to play the shorter OK, red at black, but that leaves yellow on the boundary, and not an easy hoop 4 opportunity
Yeah, I would have
to
thought
make.
hitting yellow was the right thing to do.
I agree. It's 2 yards longer and it gives you a lot more.
Lindsay's telling us that some parakeets escaped from an aviary in Surrey 30 years ago, and they've just been breeding in the wild ever since.
It's good.
It's not a mark aviary. Oh, so he's putting the hoop 5 pioneer out.
Well, apart from the fact he's left it 5 yards short.
That was bizarre. Choice, 2 choices of shots, wasn't it? Head's gone.
Yeah, I think you need to keep playing positively. You know, you need to keep telling yourself, I'm shooting well.
Well, it wasn't difficult, was it?
The lawn is easy.
Hit yellow. You could have even just left yellow there, couldn't you, as your reception ball after 4, if you really wanted to?
Yeah, I'm interested as to whether he's going to go to blue now.
No, I don't think so. You'd back yourself to get a take-off to this hoop, wouldn't you? From here?
You should do by this stage in the tournament. It's got a nice angle to take off.
Why didn't he just hit yellow first?
It would have been a lot easier. just that bit longer.
That looks
So
good, doesn't it?
In front.
It's in front, yeah.
It's gone a bit further than he'd like.
He ran one of these when we watched him before, didn't he? Similar to his hoop 2 that he ran when he was on the stream before.
Yeah, a lot easier than the one he failed. A lot easier. He will be anticipating running this. And again, if you watch that shot in a replay, fantastic editing team have got the replay out again, you'll see there's an acceleration that it's not as smooth a stroke as he's put out on the ones he's hit.
I was going to say, oh, he's run it.
Yeah, but he's missed the
missed.
hampered shot.
I was going to say before he ran that stroke, you really don't need to hit them hard, them ones, do you? You just need to hit it
Smoothly.
and run the hoop. It's going to get to the boundary
Yeah, normally.
most of the time. But I think people try and hit it harder because they're conscious that they need to run it to the boundary. It's probably over-hit it, and you don't necessarily need to.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that if you have a very hard shot that's reliable, hitting that shot really full pace does give you an advantage, because you're not going to just grovel through it. It's going to be able to bully the hoop in these comparatively soft ground conditions. But
you don't need to.
Most
Most of the
AC
time,
players haven't got that shot.
you're hitting the ball hard enough that it's going to get to the boundary anyway.
Yeah.
You know, he was, I don't know how long the hoop was, what was it? Yard and a half?
Yeah, yard and a half. So you got 3 errors from Robin.
It might be, so that might be 5 errors on lawn 4.
Yeah,
That might be more than the whole of the rest of his tournament.
it could be. And Debbie's got one at last, and now she'll do this making 2 points and making a good leave. And she can make it a little
That was
bit.
still a little bit risky though
It was.
on the replay. I mean,
what's
it hit in the middle, didn't it? So it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Here she can make an even better leave than she can do before, because she can not only crosswire them at hoop 1, but she can leave yellow a bit close to corner 1 and red on the other side of the hoop, and then if red hits in, it hasn't got a ball at its hoop. If yellow hits in, it's taking a 2 or 3 yard longer shot than before. So
So something like that.
yeah, that sort of idea. Obviously no double targets, red and yellow wired, and if red hits in, it's hoop 5, can't immediately dig a break out. If yellow hits in, it's 3 or 4 yards longer than it would have been.
See if we can get the editor to put that
I
on
don't
the
know why
screen in a minute.
She put yellow there just then, actually.
Yeah, so a little bit better.
It was
Further
better where
west.
it was.
Yeah.
Further west is better.
Yeah.
Because the shot she's going to be playing is sending it to hoop 1, going to red at. Well, she would be.
Yeah, we've got-
If she got red at over.
Absolutely, and she's not making the crosswire at 1.
No. Okay.
I think this is an error.
Is she making any hoops?
I think she thinks she's for hoop 1.
Oh
Oh,
dear.
you think?
I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on, because this is a standard position for any top class player to make 2 hoops, crosswire at your hoop, lay up in the opposite corner.
If she really, really doesn't want to be pegged out, maybe. She's going to lay up near corner 1, isn't
See,
she?
that's not a hoop 2 pioneer.
No,
So I think she's just laying up.
Yeah.
which is wrong, because now yellow's got a much shorter shot.
But it does justify sticking yellow a bit further away.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yellow should be 3 yards further away.
Does that count as an error then, do you think?
I think this is a clear error.
It could be, couldn't it?
This shot is, what do I think it's going to be? It's going to be about 23 yards, and it should have been 30.
Yeah, and she's still got a double peel to do, hasn't she?
And it's not as if Robin hitting him with a ball, the double peel is going to be a big obstacle to him. He's still going to peel her out. So just wrong.
She might be really, really worried about being picked out.
Yeah, if Robin was on 1 and 2 back, then I think this would be fine, because he's not guaranteed to double peel her out from 2 back. But 5 and 1, it's easy, whichever ball you hit him with. And I'm going to take this really aggressive shot with yellow at black. Gives everything away, but it's short. I'm just walking on the lawn going, this is so much shorter a shot than I should have had.
And I think she thinks that's what she's doing, isn't it? She thinks she's giving Robin a shot where if yellow misses, she's given herself an immediate 4-ball break. So she's probably achieved that objective.
Yep.
I'm going to throw something in the mix.
Yep.
Red to corner 3.
Well, he had a cornering
Absolutely
option, didn't he, in the
playable.
last game that he didn't take when they played when he played on the stream before.
Yeah. You can play red to corner 3.
Neither of them in the last half hour or so has looked
He's playing it.
okay.
No, they both look rough.
And that's the downside to sort of leaving yellow over near corner 4, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's the first cornering in a 4-ball game that I've seen this tournament.
We saw
Stephen
one
had one,
yesterday,
didn't
we?
he?
Stephen had one.
Stephen did.
Yeah,
Okay.
to corner 3.
Okay. So
Didn't
Was that definitely with 4 balls? It was, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
yeah. I can't remember where the other balls were, to be honest.
No.
but it was.
Well, if you could watch the day's play back.
Well, okay.
and that is a bad first shot.
It's not a great
When you're
one, is it?
wanting a rush to yellow, you don't want to rush it.
You want to be
past.
approaching from the west, if anywhere.
Yeah, west or straight.
The straight, preferably, probably.
That's 3 members of our winning McRobertson Shield team walking up, James and Harry, and joined by Jamie Birch, a current GC Open champion.
Indeed.
There's not been any sort of report on that yet, has there? On the website or anything?
Not that I've seen.
No? Disappointing.
Okay, good approach. She's got good position with blue. I would have put black a little bit wider.
Well, if you can.
That is a rush to red, I think.
Between red and yellow,
Is it?
I think. Well,
Yeah, the
bit
problem
hard
with
to
the
say.
it's
It's-
easier to cut to red than yellow, but the peg's in the way.
Yeah. Yes. You
Uh,
need to be more accurate rushing to red.
Exactly. Whereas she could cut it north of yellow and take off, but she's playing this cut to red, I think, crossing her fingers that she can miss the peg. You need to hit this hard. That's not hard enough.
Good line.
It's
not hard
bad.
enough.
It's not bad though.
Yeah, she needed more oomph into that.
Yeah.
Now this is a shot where I think I am going to try and get a rush.
Yeah. There's no other option, is there? Because that's fine as a hoop free pioneer, isn't it?
Oh, it's good. It's good.
So, like you say, you just need a takeoff.
Trying to get the rush to hoop 2 rather than to yellow.
Yeah, oh yes.
And even if you get something pointing at the end of B bulk, it's cuttable. I know you've done a lot of coaching with the England players prior to the last McRobertson, and this sort of scenario, I'm talking to Keith here, no, this sort of scenario of hitting in when you're at balls on penultimate or it's on rover, and what to do with that turn, I think is hugely important. We had an instance in 2013 at Robertson where one of the New Zealand players hit him with their penult ball, made penult. I thought, oh, it's going to be good, we're going to get a nice crosswire, made rover, made a diagonal spread. So, wasn't very happy about that.
So a lift leave.
Lift leave. So he gave them a 17-yarder instead of a 30-yarder. And a defensive.
Did they concede a lift while doing
They
it?
did. They made a
even
good
better.
diagonal spread,
Even better.
which, to be fair, is better than making a bad diagonal spread. So Debbie's now made a leave. So Robin's cornering.
That's just pressure, that, isn't it? Getting confused in the situation. Do you not think?
What, my Robertson Shield example or Debbie's example here?
Your Robertson Shield example. Oh, well, I don't know. I'm only
I don't know,
speculating.
I just think people just don't. It should be automatic. I mentioned yesterday when Gabrielle was playing, and she had non-standard clips for David Gocher against her, and he was on 3 and 2 back. And as soon as opponents clips on hoop 3, the first thing that goes in my mind after I've picked up a break is, can I get the other ball into hoop 2? It's not clear Gabrielle considered it even.
I don't think she had.
And
Actually,
no,
watching how the turn went.
I do want that to be in a player's mind. So I think Debbie's got a nice wire, so red hasn't got much to shoot at, and I wouldn't be surprised to see red go to corner 1. Once you get one corner, you're far more likely to get a second one.
Well, I'm hoping we do.
Always worth having a look if you've got an open shot here, because it's not long, and blue might have a hampered backswing if you miss. This shot is about the same length as yellow into corner 1 was.
There we go.
2 in a row.
And I think that is a sound choice here. Debbie probably won't pick that ball up until before hoop 5 if she does get a break. However, the natural sequence of where the balls move to will give her a standard double peel if she rushes down to corner 4 after making hoop 2. But you've got to play a series of good shots to do that. And that's an unlucky start.
Yeah.
It's one of those rare positions where she might end up rushing to red after hoop 2, because she has to approach from the left, I think, because it's marginally easier to approach from the left.
Has she got to approach the hoop?
She doesn't have to, she could just leave a rush the hoop from the corner, but yellow will then go into a corner, probably corner 4, and it becomes even more difficult then.
But she could leave a rush for black.
Correct. That is definitely something that needs to be in the mind. I think she is closer to the left hand side here, and she can play just a take off moving black a ball and a half and get a rush to red.
This is like being back in the 1980s, Chris.
It is. It is. So, a fairly straightforward hoop. Wants to run it by about a yard. No. And now she'll roll over to corner 3 and guard hoop 3.
Not a lot else to do.
No. No. And that will allow yellow to go to corner 2. So there's an argument to lay a wired rush to hoop 3 from near corner 2. So yellow can't shoot at that. And then yellow hasn't...
Or lay this rush with black.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I don't like long takeoffs that don't give me a break. So the only reason I'm going to play this is if I fancy the roll out to hoop 4 getting behind yellow. I don't generally like taking off to red and taking off to yellow.
Well, she's doing this to make a leave, presumably.
No, I think she's trying to make
You
hoop
think
3
she's
off yellow.
Trying to make hoop 3.
No.
I
Do you
do.
think so?
I think she's looking at it thinking
I think
she's
she's
going to
looking
try and
at
get
it.
one oppo ball at hoop 3 and one oppo ball
This
at
might have
hoop
a
4.
rush. Might have a rush. It's a good effort. Or overhit, depending on which way you look at it. So I think she'll take off trying to get a rush on yellow. which we think is probably a few feet off the south boundary.
I think she's going to move red in. So she's going to try and end up with a ball at hoop 3 and a ball at hoop 4 now.
Yeah, here we go.
And joined up in corner
We're
2.
thinking like Debbie.
As a
Jack.
leave, yeah.
I'm thinking this is giving too short a shot away.
But she's trying to get the balls out so that if the shot's missed, she's got a chance for a break, isn't she?
Yeah, there's all sorts of bad things happen here. Like you send it to hoop 3 and suddenly it finishes and draws a 4-back, and you've got a lift. Just randomly throwing balls out from opposite corners.
Is she going to go to yellow?
I think she is.
Yeah. She wants to, ideally, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So she's
Looking at
going
it.
to go to
Yeah,
yellow.
it's an easier croquet stroke than going back to black.
Well,
But
can't you take that option of...
taking off to hoop 3.
Red's okay. Blue's short.
She might join up now.
I think red at black is incredibly short. Robin should have had 130 yarder in this game, and he's turned down a 23 yarder. And what's this now? This is 3, 6, 9. This is 19 yarder.
Yeah, but he can put red back in corner 1.
Corner 1, he can do. Debbie hasn't got close enough to yellow to be shooting at it,
No.
but I'm going to shoot at this. You're going to have to do a delayed double if you hit black. So Robin definitely getting value out of his 2 bits of cornering. He might have got sufficient value that he decides to put red back to corner 1. But you're trying to generate a short shot for yourself, and this is pretty short, and shooting east-west at Hurlingham, I think this is quite flat. It's not near the north boundary, which goes left to right. I think if you hit the middle of black, it's going to hit. Certainly Debbie shouldn't be looking at anywhere that might leave a double, and not leaving yourself a rush maximises the chance that Robin is going to go back to corner 1.
Yeah.
So I'd be leaving a rush,
She's getting really bogged down now, isn't she?
yeah, to behind hoop 2. That's a sort of a rush to nowhere. And just hoping Robin goes back to corner 1, and then I'll have a better leave next turn. Possibly, as Jack keeps mentioning, for the black ball.
Well, the thing, if you make penalties, you've got a rush down to that end of the court, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's true if you make hoop 3 as well. She's on 3 now, isn't she? So
She is.
I think that's
Well,
okay.
it's not a double.
Yeah, that's okay. And when you make your leave for black, you need to make it so that if they shoot at it, the blue can
you can
just
play
finish.
blue, yeah.
So you're not giving him a shot followed by another shot. You're hoping he's going to corner again, and you can just make a hoop or 2 and a better leave. But this is quite short, red at black. If red goes to corner 1, I anticipate, blue can cut that 2/3 of the way to hoop 3 with a good shot, and it might decide to approach hoop 3 aggressively. Yellow is still in lawn.
I wonder if red's looking at it thinking, even if I miss, she's not got a break immediately. She could have a break, couldn't she? She probably should have a break.
Yeah, you'd expect
But
to
the
finish.
way that things have been going, she's not going to get immediate good pioneer at hoop 4 before she makes hoop 3.
No, you could choose to rush to yellow, but I don't think she will.
No, well, no, I don't think she will. But yeah, she could do.
No. That was a harder hit again, and these ones where he hasn't hit it smoothly, he's missed all of them, whereas his smooth swing's been very, very good. Again, that sort of almost jerky bottom phase when he's just stroked it. It's been wonderfully consistent, this event. And the reason we're going to rush to hoop 3 is red's going to be well in the lawn, isn't it? So after hoop 3 we've got another ball to help us get to yellow.
Yeah, get any sort of rush to corner 4.
And dare I say, the opportunity to put out an early hoop 6 pioneer.
We saw a few of them yesterday, didn't we, Keith?
Samir put a couple out.
Very
and
happy.
an early rover pioneer after 3-bait. He waited until you'd gone.
I should hope so too, yeah. So you don't want to rush this to corner 2. I would have rushed it even less far than that and stayed more on the rush line. Just happy to croquet red into the lawn, rush back to it after the hoop, put black to 6 and get a dolly rush on red to corner 4. Yeah, as soon as I make hoop 3 I expect I've won. So I don't want to minimise not getting a rush to hoop 3 by taking myself off the rush line, and she hasn't got as good a rush as I would expect from the position she had. Well, good length and good direction. That's pretty good. Should be easy to get a rush over to red from that side of the hoop. And I think we know it's approaching slightly uphill, don't we?
Yeah.
Not sure what event's being played at Pendle.
That is the Spencerell, I think.
Yeah. Sun over there today.
Always under hit. Well, inside the corner.
Where's the tankard being played?
Colchester.
Oh, Colchester, that's right.
There's
Jones at Ramsgate.
quite a nice spread.
I've never been to Pendle.
It was my closest club.
It's too far.
It is a long way north, but not as far south as, not as far away from the middle as everything as Budley.
Budley is too far as well in the other way.
Would you go to Frinton?
They do have a croquet club
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Started up a couple of years ago, I think.
No, again, if you don't play a good hoop stroke, they tend not to go through. And
It's just a bit painful to watch now, isn't
I
it?
think we're down to, this is clearly the worst game in
Yeah.
the tournament so
This
far.
is not good stuff.
I haven't seen anything approaching this level.
We wouldn't be expecting to see a game like this, would we, at the President's Cup?
No. So Robin's not only got the advantage of he's generated a 19-yard shot for himself, but as Jack said, it wasn't a guaranteed pickup,
No.
and he's now got a little 11-yarder.
I
Yeah,
was going to say 10.
yeah, could be 10. Not necessarily easy to go round unless blue does rush all the way down to the south
It
boundary.
looks like it's fairly in the middle to me, that blue.
Still,
okay.
that was faster again, wasn't
I
it?
thought that was okay, that one, but is it a tempo thing?
It's a
Is
tempo.
It, no, but I mean, is it or sequencing? Is what a golf pro would talk about.
Ah,
As in, have you actually finished the backswing before you start the downswing? That sort of thing. I thought he had, but
I thought that was a tempo thing, and the ball travelled much faster than the shots where he's making roquets.
yeah.
So I think blue will run the hoop. I don't think it will pick up red.
No.
I think it'll try and rush black down towards hoop 5 and take off behind yellow.
Would you tap black and try and get a rush on red? South?
No,
You'd ignore red.
this is the line I would play, but I just thought there was an interesting line, depending on exactly where blue was, of running that all the way down to yellow. Hit yellow, take off it behind hoop 4, preferably going to black and rush black to the boundary ball. and now she's in no man's land.
I don't think she feels like she's playing well, does she?
No.
I mean, she isn't playing well, but
And it's not getting better.
No.
Either, which is a horrible
and she's
feeling.
not giving herself easy chances to play well either, is she?
No. There is an argument to say that having rushed black to there, the takeoff to get a rush on red south is a bit easier. So you're not going sort of directly across it, you've got more margin for error, admittedly from further away. And that's what she's looking at. But is she going to defensify the black? So this is the most aggressive play we've seen from Debbie. Leaving partner in the middle of the lawn.
Yes.
And going all out. No, she's decided against it.
Yeah. She heard that.
I don't think she did because the helicopter was
No,
overhead.
I'm sure she didn't, but she picked up the vibe.
Keith's helicopter.
Morning, Andrew. We've advertised your text commentary already. Lovely to see you again, and thanks for doing all that.
Have all the other games finished then?
No, David Doakes is just starting a standard team.
That'll be a while then.
Well, he's just made Croquet England 2.
So as we mentioned, James beat Harry plus 17, and Samir's beaten Gabrielle plus 17 TP.
Okay, so that's helping Robin
Yes.
because Gabrielle
Gabrielle's
was in
is
second place.
near-
Well,
Nearest
Samir's
rival.
on 5 as
Yeah.
well, with a
Now,
game pegged
but
down.
Gabrielle would have been on 6.
Yeah, but Samir will be as well if he wins his pegged down game.
Okay. So Debbie, in the meantime, she's rolled black defensively behind hoop 4, and instead of just taking off to the hoop, which would be the aggressive line of play, she's stomping yellow away, trying to get in front, and she hates it. Despite it's
Oh,
on the
it's
wrong
not
side of the
even
hoop. So it's now gone into a sort of bad phase, I think we have to say. And I wouldn't be surprised to see yellow find a corner here, because she is going to be able to guard yellow at her balls, and shooting yellow at red gives quite a lot away, and I think yellow to corner 1 looks quite attractive.
Where do you think she's going to put blue?
I think
Assuming
probably
she can get it there.
the south boundary, not leaving a double.
Okay.
Probably
Trying to leave
a rush north.
a punt, something she might cut towards 4,
Yeah,
potentially.
I thought she could hit it off the lawn. My preferred option is to try and leave a rush to hoop 1, to corner 1 I mean, because that's the natural place for yellow to go, and it also guards all the yellow shots. So you might get yellow to go to corner 2, which is a bit more advantageous to you. That's gone a bit far. Has yellow got a target?
Yeah, maybe.
Certainly looking at it, I think she's overhit that by a yard.
Well, it could be quite cunning, couldn't it? If you can get Robin to miss.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Again.
Yes.
I wondered when's the last time Robin hit something? It's a while
That
ago.
shot at hoop 4, from just north of the peg to hoop 4, and he hit that very much in the middle at a good pace. What sort of target has he got?
Single ball, and you could easily hit hoop 5.
Ah, okay, so hoop 5 in place. So Nick Parrish gone and checked that out, and it's a dead single ball. So I have to say she's got the pace of that shot completely wrong, because you would never try and leave a single ball from that far away. And yeah, I think corner 1 very playable. And if I'd have been Robin, I'd have picked a spot to aim at and tried to shoot at it.
That's what we saw Samir doing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shooting at corner pegs and the markers and things like that.
Just try and get his nice smooth swing back again, because he just dribbled that off in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm not suggesting he shoots at that pace, but somewhere in between the quite firm shots he's had and the very wibbly shot he played there, halfway house.
Would you ever just lay up in the corner here, or guarding the corner, rather than doing what she's doing?
I might do, but I might be tempted to go and move red,
Are you sure?
and then not even try and make a hoop. Move black closer to the corner with a takeoff. Now yellow's going to have a free shot, isn't it?
Is that not even? She's going to attempt it. Is she?
Well, she could have played black,
No, she's not going to attempt it.
in fact.
Indeed. Play
But-
back black and make a leave
Yeah.
was better.
I mean, she hasn't even looked like she's considered playing black at all, has she?
No, this is quite a tough one.
This little jump.
Yeah. The good thing is it's likely to finish off the east boundary, which guards yellow at black. It doesn't guard red at blue though. I think just playing between black and corner 4, if she can get anywhere near there, is the best place to go. Leave herself a 5-yarder. You can't run it on the ground. I say as she maybe runs it on the ground. If you run it on the ground, she's never going to be able to hit black, is she?
No.
So
Well.
yellow at black is free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Admittedly, it's not going to get a break if you hit it very easily,
Gets the innings back.
but the innings is huge. I thought jumping there was viable. She could have jumped through and got a rush somewhere. But running it on the ground gently at that angle is pretty tough. So we're expecting yellow at black. I'm interested in the pace he's going to hit it at. So Robin looking at blue. You can probably run the hoop to 2.5 yards west of corner 4, which will probably only leave it a 4.5 yarder or 4 yarder. So Debbie could play that, but even if you hit yellow, you can't get a ball to hoop 6 and hold for a rush to hoop 5 on
No.
black.
Well, might get it peg high though.
Again, horizontal mallet indicating he wants an umpire. So he's not shooting at black, and he's taking a more defensive shot at blue. But it gives him a lot more if he hits it.
Well, it does.
And one of the things you need to watch for as an umpire here isn't just does yellow hit the blue, it's does yellow move the blue, because blue might end up with a wiring lift if it just moves due to the contact with a hoop. Could hit the near wire of the hoop. It's a better sort of pace, I think, that. So missing further north, so I don't think Debbie's going to run the hoop and hit yellow. I think she'll run the hoop and rush to hoop 5 and then try and dig a break out. I don't think there's much point in playing black this turn. It is still a finishing opportunity, isn't it?
It's not. Yeah. You got to rush out of 5, rush it south of yellow, wiggle it out, Rush yellow to red. Gee, that's a poor rush though.
So Paddy's made an interesting point. I've been going for this ball to the peg and a crosswire and laying up and forcing my opponent to take the long shot. And Paddy said sometimes you try and make a lead that's less black and white as that, and leaves the opponent the opportunity to maybe corner, and you still finish anyway. And yeah, I think that's absolutely right, Paddy. But I think you're talking about players playing better than Debbie is at the moment. I think putting 2 balls at her hoop and forcing the opponent to shoot is probably her best chance of winning.
This is not good. Not good failing this.
And interesting, I think, to note that Debbie plays split grip as well. Not as wide as David Gocher.
That was quite interesting. She had her left hand moved down an inch or 2 after casting.
If you notice Gabrielle, she casts and moves the bottom hand.
Well, that's exactly what Debbie did.
Yeah, I asked Gabrielle about it and said no, it's a deliberate thing.
Okay.
And she sometimes feels it's not swinging quite straight, so she just moves it a little bit and adjusts it until it is swinging straight. So I like holding the mallet in the same way for every single ball stroke. I think that's certainly when you're shooting anyway. This is genuinely quite difficult. The fault is definitely possible. If blue doesn't jump a little bit, it's quite possibly going to be a fault. Certainly if she was playing it as sharply as she was starting to play it, you can play it a little bit flatter, and then blue might not need
she's
to jump.
got a restricted backswing because of the crossbar on the hoop.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
clean.
that was clean. And
She's
we're
hit it.
okay.
Now in no man's land. And I think there's a lot to be said for making a leave. Move black towards the boundary. Go to one of the opponent balls, split that in lawn, go to the other ball, split that in lawn. Again, both oppo balls should finish outside the rectangle.
So basically,
You know, yellow,
corners. Well, yellow up beyond hoop 3,
or even beyond hoop 2.
or even beyond hoop 2, and then red corner 1ish. Then
Between
but that's
hoop-
yellow's hoop.
It is, but yellow's a long way from everything.
Yeah, okay.
I think yellow's going to corner if you do that. And you'll have got away from a nasty position unscathed.
Okay. I might have fancied yellow up between hoop 3 and the corner 3.
So a fractionally more
Straight.
difficult shot. Oh, that's not good. She's gone way too far in lawn there. It's a good depth on yellow.
Which is okay. That's only a 3-yarder, 3.5.
I'd like to be
But yeah,
closer.
yellow up here,
Yeah.
hit red, and then stick red towards a sort of, try and make there might be a wide line
Middle
through
of the
6.
Yeah. Okay.
And red at yellow is a pretty easy pick-up if it misses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yellow's going to
Ditto
corner.
yellow at red.
Yellow's going to corner, isn't it?
Well, then it's very easy pick-up because you leave a rush over to a west boundary somewhere where red is.
Sorry, your yellow's up by hoop 3, so red's
Yeah.
going to corner. So you need to rush to hoop 5 and get a rush to corner 3.
She's for 6.
Which is for... it's the red clip on there. So, He's definitely
So you
going
want
to corner.
something yellow up near hoop, between hoop 3 and the corner, but such that you can easily get onto it to make 6.
And you're leaving a rush west, are you?
I was going to leave a rush west, yeah, on the basis that.
He's
When
just
I
going
say
to.
west, I mean maybe towards the peg. So you can cut up to the north boundary and get behind this yellow. Not trivial, but it's doable.
It's doable, yeah. Yeah.
I think if I was red and yellow, I'd feel forced to shoot.
I wouldn't. Not after this last few turns, I think.
Well, I know that's the thing, isn't it? But that's the psychological aspect of the game.
It is, yeah.
You can't always assume that your opponent is going to continue giving you chances,
Yeah.
can you?
Again, I think red at these two balls is quite short.
It is. I mean, it's not dissimilar to what I was suggesting.
No. Red's probably a bit more in lawn.
Red's more off the north boundary than I was looking for. But
So I'm less tempted to play yellow to corner 1 with this sleeve. I'm just going to shoot at that.
with red.
With red.
Red at blue?
Red at.
Is that which is?
Might play red at black.
I still think we're in last shot territory if you're shooting.
Yeah, but he had plenty of value out of what he's done so far.
He has. Yeah. I mean, red to corner 1.
I just think yellow's too far in lawn and the rush is pointing more or less at it.
It's a long way away though.
I'm going to go to corner 3 more than corner 1 as well.
Ah, okay, yes, fair enough.
But I'm taking this.
Which is going for? Yeah, going for black, I think.
Yeah. Too hard again. Went at blue.
Sorry.
He's missed again. Just felt his better shots have been a bit less hard hit than that. So should be able to get red quite a long way in lawn. And I presume you're going to rush to yellow and make hoop 6 off yellow.
Yes, absolutely.
And we're going to peel Penult before 4 back.
Yes. Let's get a break.
Let's get a break first.
Yeah. But I would be investing a deal of concentration into getting a really good rush on play. I don't want a 4-foot punt in the general direction.
I think that
18-inch rush.
Yeah, it goes back to your previous question from earlier this morning. What is it that makes you think you're playing well?
Right.
And it's when I've got a 1 yard rush on black to yellow, I know it's going to finish near yellow.
Okay, that's interesting. So not, would you be going for a 1 yard rush?
It depends how I'm playing. If I'm playing well, I don't need to go for anything other than a 1 yard rush.
Okay.
When you're not playing that well, you have to play a better croquet stroke.
Yeah, you see, I think I was the opposite. I was thinking, if I'm playing well, I'll get an 18-inch rush. Yeah.
No, I that definitely wasn't my way of thinking. And I think just taking rushes this length to yellow, you look at Bamford, it's a bit short.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a good strike though.
You look at Bamford and Fulford and they will always rush black off the lawn behind yellow and they'll make it look easy. Whereas I could cut that to the north boundary behind hoop 2 or off the middle of the west boundary if I'm not playing very well. So that's a good enough 1 back pioneer and she'll just take off to get this rush to hoop 6.
I was kind of hoping that somebody else might have come and sat over it while I'd been gone. We have had some feedback in regards to crunching the biscuits.
Oh,
right. Well, today's it's custard creams, Jack.
Yeah.
Provided by Stephen.
I do
as
like
well
a
as
custard
the
cream.
traditional jelly babies.
Were you more custard cream or bourbons? I would always pick a bourbon if I could.
Chocolate's always good, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. A good rush there.
Oh, she looks like she might have a break.
Confidence
Nice.
builder.
yes.
And she'll play for yellow going to her right of the hoop. So
Yeah.
our left as we're looking at it, and rush over to the east boundary and send yellow 2 back. And she can rush red over and send it to Penult and get a rush in front of Penult after 1 back.
Yeah.
So it's all really there for her.
Yeah. I wouldn't have sent yellow that far. I really wouldn't. She was right on top of 6 then. Wouldn't you have just done about a foot or
I'm
18
disappointed
inches?
to have this longer rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we're sounding critical, but these things can make a difference.
She played it well,
Yeah.
but has she got it far enough to get the 2 back? Yeah, it's gone to the boundary.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, you want to. I think you need a decent rush on red here.
you do. Do you think yellow's being sent to 2 back? It looks like it's being sent
It
further north.
should be going to 2 back. Sure.
It should, shouldn't it?
I think it more or less has.
She doesn't look like she's got a very good stop shot with that
She
mallet.
didn't even look like she tried to play a stop shot there though.
No, she played a drive.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, I mean,
Don't know what that was.
I could have sent yellow off the west boundary getting a rush on red there.
I mean, it is more difficult with these new mallets, isn't it? Stop shots are harder.
So I'm told.
That was a good rush on red.
I'm amazed she couldn't do better than that. But it's all going to start bunching up again if Debbie can win this game. Drag Robin back towards the pack again. Now, even the people who are on 4 wins are still in contention.
Yeah, there'd be 2. Robin would be 2 ahead, but Samir's got an unfinished game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And mentally, going into the day with a good lead, having put a game like this out is not going to do you much good.
No.
But we
It's
did
not a
say
confidence
before we
booster.
started, we did say if he wins 2, he's in. If he gets 2 out of 4 today, he's still in good shape, isn't he? He'll be 9 out of 12.
Well, there's a difference between losing a game 17 TP, where you haven't made an error, and making 3 errors
Yeah.
and missing 4 shots.
It'd be interesting to see, won't it, when he gets back on the other lawns that aren't on the stream, whether he just goes back to playing really, really well.
Yeah.
Rick Harding's had another TP in the L. So he's had 3 now.
Yeah, played pretty well in the Welsh Championships. Martins keep picking up the odd win here and there.
Martin Murray.
Well. We're having to go at the peel with no pioneer. Couple of nice pivots though.
you've got to allow quite a lot of pull for this shot, haven't
Huge
you?
amount. Yes.
Unless you play it with a takeoff, when you can probably just aim it into the left-hand wire and play it dead weight. But it looks to me as if she's playing it with more of a split.
Well, if you take off, you're not getting very close to red, are you?
You're not getting as close as you'd like, are you? I wouldn't play it with a roll.
That's quite a good outcome.
Very good outcome. I always thought with a roll it was less predictable, the amount of pull you were going to get. But yeah, the shots work very well for her.
I find it quite difficult here to work out where I want to hit red to, because I want to be able to get a good free back pioneer, but I also want to guarantee a really good rush to two back.
Well, I'm erring on rushing it closer to yellow.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know if I put it a couple of yards south-east of Rover, that's actually not a bad place.
Yeah, so you'd sort of rather have a really, really good rush to two back, rather than worry about having a perfect.
Because you can rush black down,
which I think is
what
tends to happen most of the time. It's certainly what I end up doing. Get too close to it and I can't get a pioneer out.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a stop shot for me. This is a drive.
Yeah. But I suppose some people would be looking, going, well, none of these shots are difficult, are they?
No,
But when you're trying to put them together in a break, and you're not playing well, and you now run through one back, so you are giving away a lift, aren't you? And all these sort of things start playing in your head.
Yeah, both players are sort of under pressure, because Debbie's not played particularly well. He's probably on two wins, and Robin's potentially about to win his first ever major championship, having played the game for 35 years. It's really big. Yeah, you're playing an amateur sport.
That was a really good shot.
You play it for enjoyment, and you hope to occasionally win a minor tournament. And then after 35 years, you're suddenly not really expecting it, but you might win your first major tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in reality, he probably would have turned up here, wouldn't he? He'd have been hoping for maybe 5 or 6 wins, and to find himself on 7 out of 8. Like you say, your mind sort of shifts a bit then, and you're like, hang on, I've got a chance here.
And the other thing about this is, if you think about it further, if Robin wins this tournament, sort of from out of nowhere, he starts to go, can I get in the Matt Robertson Shield team?
Well, when I was away, I was just thinking that, because you were saying, weren't you, the other day about Debs and Gabs being sort of on the verge of competing for the... But, I mean, from what we've seen today, you wouldn't think that was very likely. But obviously, Debs is a lot better, isn't she, than she's shown?
Yeah, absolutely. We all play badly. Of
course,
a video of me playing the semi-final of a World Championship at Hurlingham, and I'm shockingly bad. But yeah, we all have bad patches.
But the better players have less and less extreme bad patches.
Yeah, and win more when they're not playing well.
With their C game, yeah. But if she finishes this turn, she might be able to convince herself to forget the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And just concentrate on having played this one fairly nice turn.
Much more difficult for Robin. This is going to be the toughest stage croquet he's ever played.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah, I don't really know Robin too well. I don't know if he does struggle with that kind of thing. I suppose everyone does to a certain extent. It's just how you deal with it, isn't it?
Yeah, and how much you've been exposed to potentially winning a tournament of this magnitude.
He's got to sort of semi-finals of Class 2 championships and things before, hasn't he? So
but this is a big event.
Different, yeah.
Trophy comes out tomorrow, and you start looking at the names on this trophy, and you've got a who's who of croquet.
Yeah.
Going back, I can't remember. Is it about 1908 the first time it's played this?
The President's Cup? No, it's the 30s.
30s, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Because they had the Beddoe Cup before.
Of course.
president was, I want to say, Trevor Williams, who gave this cup.
Yes.
And she should be finishing now, shouldn't she? Let's ignore what's happened in the last couple of hours. You know,
She should, but she's going to have to do the Rover Peel straight.
she is,
And we
but
saw Gabrielle struggle with that yesterday.
she's a President's Cup player, so we would usually be expecting her to finish, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Marcus is asking about the casting,
What's he asking?
suggesting that it's a waste of energy, which is something that you've mentioned, isn't it, in the past, Keith?
I'll tell you, yes, that's one of my bees in my bonnet. I think casting is good to just check you're aiming in the right direction.
You did a single cast, didn't you?
But very much so. Yeah, I was quite a quick player, and people say people who cast are so slow, and I just don't agree. You know, you walk up behind it from a couple of yards away, cast it over, make sure you got your feet in the right place, your shoulders, it all looks good, and then you hit it.
Yeah,
And I think starting the backswing from a non-stationary position is an advantage, because you've actually got the mallet swinging along its line to start with. You don't have to start a backswing along a good line,
Yeah.
'cause it's already there.
I mean,
The counter argument is you then got to move the mallet into
Down.
a different plane.
Correct, you do, and that takes some getting used to start with.
There's two types of casting I don't particularly like. It's the people who cast huge casts when they're going to be moving the ball a few feet,
Indeed, yes,
and then there's the people who cast when they're running a 6-inch hoop.
yeah. And Debbie does something a bit different, doesn't she? She does quite a lot of casting, and
Yeah,
then
no.
grounds the mallet.
but that's almost a lining up thing, isn't it, rather than a hitting the ball
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So the hoop's in the way of her sending this down to Rover. If you could send this down to Rover, Keith, would you?
Yes, yeah, I would.
And you'd go and just tidy it up after
Tie
the
it
hoop,
up and have it a foot straight in front
happy
if
enough,
possible.
taking off back to red.
Red is so good.
Oh, you say that, but when we was commentating on Robert Fletcher, he did have a bit of trouble doing that, didn't he?
Well, my point
This is
is,
bad now.
if you can't put it to Rover,
Don't put it there.
you're better putting it north of red.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
She should have put it to
yes, I
penalty.
agree with that.
Because now she's going to have to rush that. Well, she's not going to have to, but she probably is going to rush it to Rover,
Yeah,
which is an inaccurate
yeah. You know,
directional shot.
well, pace more importantly.
But I mean, when you was asking Keith if he'd put it to Rover, I was thinking, well, putting it to penalty is an option anyway.
Absolutely.
You don't have to put it to Rover before fallback.
Yeah. I was in two minds. Red is a little bit far north for me to want to put it to Pinault. So she's got a nice rush to it, which is a good start. If you didn't get a rush and you had to roll down to black, then you're really starting to get into trouble.
What we saw, this is, so if she's going to take off to it, this is what Robert Fletcher did, didn't it? I don't know if you can remember when we was watching before at the World Championships. He had a ball at row, he's doing exactly this. He took off to his penalty pioneer and went into hoop 6.
Got some hill, finished in hoop 6.
Yeah.
Right. Well, don't do that.
Well, I mean, you called it, didn't you? You said it was a risk, and I'd assumed that he'd gone far enough away from the hoop that it was never going to be in play. And I think he probably thought he had as well, but like you say, he was trusting to the lawn.
And I think one of the reasons, people think that, we just know how to do these things because we're better tactically. The reason we know not to do these things is we've all made the
Yes.
same mistake ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we try and learn from those mistakes. And all of the top players have made hundreds and hundreds of errors.
Well, and you learn from other people's mistakes, don't you? So you sit on the sidelines and watch somebody make a mistake, and you go, "Oh, that was a bit silly," you know.
So it's not a good length.
It's not a good length. It needs
straightening up,
It needs straightening up.
and I think it's not close enough to not need a deep ball.
The good thing is, at least she didn't leave yellow in the way.
Indeed, yeah. So
It doesn't look too bad now. In fact, that looks okay.
yeah, there's about, what is it, 4.5 feet in front, maybe 5. I still think I might need a deep ball. And perhaps that's another thing that happens when I play well. I can Irish peel from further away. Just shows you striking the actual striker's ball well. You're putting it down the path you want.
So going back to the situation we were talking about earlier, when I said, how would you know you're playing well?
Yeah.
And you said, well, I'd know I could get a 3-foot rush and take it where I wanted.
Yeah.
Would you then be trying to get a 3-foot rush, or would you go, well, I'm playing well, so I can get a 2-foot rush?
If I was playing from as far away as that position was, I would have played for the 3-foot rush.
Okay.
Because my likelihood of the error trying to get an 18-inch rush would have been higher than my likelihood of the error.
Do you call it an error, or you just go, well, the lawn might screw me up?
Normally it's an imperfect stroke. The lawn might move it a ball and a half. But yeah, you're trying to take what's best for you, aren't you? Which is why
Yes,
you can't
absolutely.
ever say, well, you know, this is definitely wrong for them, unless it is absolutely black and white. And I think there were some black and white things we've seen over the last few days. 90% of it has been grey, and well, you could do this, or you could do this, and what's your personal strengths? But then occasionally, you do get something I think that's wrong.
I certainly used to find, bizarrely, almost without consciously trying, I would get closer to balls that I wanted to rush when I didn't feel I was hitting single ball shots well.
Right. Which is what I'm saying, isn't it?
It's sort of what you're saying. You're sort of saying, well, I'll hang back.
Yes.
I didn't have a feeling of hanging back,
Okay.
but I just noticed I got incredibly close to
not a
things
good
I
shot.
wanted to rush.
That was poor.
So, yeah, it's interesting. I would still do things like prioritise getting a 1-foot rush struck somewhere. But as I've mentioned a few times, there's been lots of positions here where I've thought, if I make the first hoop, I'm going to do whatever I want. And Debbie here, she's appealing from a long way away. She has fortunately got a good deep ball, and it's from quite straight.
She won't be doing an Irish peel, I don't think.
No, this will be a stop shot peel.
Yeah.
We've already seen she hasn't got a very good stop
Well,
shot.
exactly. So Black won't be travelling very fast because she needs to hang back probably 18 inches
So she can jump.
and then jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Red is, what do we think? She's going to have about 4.5 yarder.
Yes. Looking at the screen.
And there's always a little bit more pressure on those. That last 4.5 yards to win the game.
This is no, it's not definitely an Irish peel, is it?
It's definitely a stop shot peel, we
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
That's what I would be doing anyway. Jeez.
You think so?
If you play this with an Irish, you can send the front ball off. It's a good shot. It's gone far enough through, she might just dribble this off.
Yeah.
It's also hill to the left, so you could run it with a little bit more pace and try and go a yard past Red. Certainly a little bit of hill to the left might be helpful for her here. Now gone for control.
Played it well.
Good shot.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any need to play the cannon yellow into black. Plenty of room to
100% not.
rush to the peg.
That is almost never the right thing to do.
We did eventually get a fairly good turn.
Yeah.
Richard Richard Hilditch is disagreeing with you two as to what happened at hoop 6. I don't know if you can remember back that far, but you was a bit critical of how far she put her reception ball past hoop 6.
Yes, I do remember that.
And Richard is making the point, given the previous standard of play, running a hoop hard was probably the right thing to do.
Okay. She seemed to be approaching from...
She was approaching from very close, wasn't she?
And it caused her a lot of problems not getting that 2-back par near. I know she played a lot of good shots to recover. But yeah, just given where she was approaching from, she ended up with a very long rush.
Jawsing that peel was really helpful.
Yeah,
actually.
Absolutely. It was a lot of guesswork in that shot.
She's not comfortable on this.
But you need to have a clear view in your mind where you're going to rush it to. And you need to play the shot at a pace where it can't possibly hit the peg.
The awkward thing, I suspect, is that the straight brush is pointing at the hoop.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. Well, she went the other side of the hoop from the side I was expecting.
Absolutely.
One thing I would say though about, I mean, she hit that on the wrong side, didn't she? But she was trying to cut it away from the hoop. I find it much more difficult after over when you're trying to cut it towards the hoop, towards the peg.
Yeah. Again, you've not just got to line this up correctly. You've got to hit the striker's ball at the peg, or else it'll pull away. And how did you line these shots up, Keith?
I don't look down the side.
I do.
I look at it at the top.
Okay, that's what I used to do. And now that'll be, I'll line it up over the top to start with. And then once I'm happy it's there, I'll go down and I'll look down the right hand side.
Do you do this sort of thing?
Yeah. Look
I
down
can't actually do that.
I don't get on the floor, I do it from behind.
Okay.
But the right hand edges of the two balls should be missing on the right of the peg.
Sure.
And the left hand edges of the two balls should be missing by an equal amount on the left hand side of the peg. And if that works out, then the middles are going at the middle of the peg. And then you've just got to focus of hitting the blue well. Nice and straight. Don't be worried about black going off the lawn if you miss it.
I'm always annoyed if blue misses a peg in this shot. Maybe not from this distance, but from 3 yards, say.
Yep. So we made it in the end, plus 22.
So Debbie moves to 3 out of what's that now? 9, is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
8, I think.
So she's got a peg down game, still unfinished. So she's 3 out of 8.
David Gocher approaching Rover with a straight peel to do.
He's still on his TP against Stephen. James has won, so I think that's in. He's on 5 out of 8. Samir played. Who did Samir play? Gabrielle. Yeah, he's won that. So he's on 5 as out of
8.
And yeah, James beat Harry, didn't he? So
Keeping in touch. But he's on 5 out of 9, I think, rather than 5 out of 8.
yeah, he's finished all his games, hasn't he? Right, I'll scoot off and see if Jamie or Nick want to come in.
Thanks very much, Jack.
And I might come back this afternoon.
Yep, I'll be
Looking forward to
disappearing.
it already.
So really, anyone's you could easily get 5 different winners, I think, of this event at the moment. It's starting to get a little bit tricky for Harry, Debbie and Stephen. But Stephen's not out of it, you know, on 3 out of 7.
Is James still favourite?
James, it's just about focus for James. He's got all the ability, but you look at the numbers when he's lost, these 24 and the 19. They're 2 games he should have won.
Well, he had an interesting finish against Debbie yesterday.
Yeah.
I think after you'd left, because he had, I think he must have peeled or pegged out at least one of her balls, or the other ball for 4 back, and we noticed what was happening just as he was coming up to Rover. Partner was 4 Rover, and he had made Rover himself, so he was peeling posthumously.
Yeah.
And
madness.
He did from by the peg. He did a massively firm attempted rush peel, which sent the ball crashing into the hoop, and then there was some follow-up from his ball and some spin, and it ended up in the jaws.
Right, not the greatest of places to finish.
Well, his focus was, I'm going to peg out my ball anyway, and now he's in the middle of Rover. Now we didn't see exactly, we wandered off, we didn't see exactly where he left the ball in the jaws and managed to peg his ball out.
Right.
And Debbie hit the lift and finished.
Right.
Coach has somehow broken down at Rover.
But it would have been an interesting situation, because you've potentially got the option to actually do the peel,
Yeah.
which might make Debbie's rush to 4 back, give her a bigger target,
Yeah.
but harder to rush it up the lawn,
Yeah.
or bring it slightly out of the hoop so it's just in front of Rover and potentially peg your ball out.
Yeah. I think
He was-
in front of the hoop stronger, isn't it?
It's harder to hit, a
Well,
lot harder to hit.
The problem of putting it
From A
through
bulk,
is,
anyway.
can Debbie just join up and your next shot's back through the hoop to try and hit the peg?
You can just go off to the side, can't you?
You can. So yeah, Jack's just reported that David Gocher has failed his Rover peel and broken down.
Oh no.
So there might be quite a lot more play involved of that.
Plus an hour?
Could be. Could be. Can you see where the opponent clips are, Keith?
One's on hoop 1. It might be both on hoop 1, but there's certainly one on hoop 1.
And this is against Stephen.
Stephen, yes.
So yeah,
So
plenty of
Stephen
play.
managed to come back there. What sort of shape is he in?
He's okay. Yeah, at the moment he's on 3 out of 7. It sounds bad, doesn't it? But
4 out of 8.
4 out of 8 with the leader on
6
6 out of 9.
6 out of 9, yeah.
Was it 6 out of 8? I think it might
No,
be
no,
6.
he's played. He was no, he's 7. No, he's
Seven-
7 out of
7
8.
out of
7
9.
out of 9.
So you're still well in it. I mentioned to Harry when he got to 0 out of 5 that he was still in contention. You know,
Did he believe you?
I think
No,
his
no
main,
one told me that in 2010.
I think the main problem is it wasn't he got to 0 out of 5 by just people just playing very well against him. He looked a bit shaky, hadn't he? So he needed to up his game and get a little bit of luck here and there. These matches are quite important. Does your opponent hit the lift? Do they miss the lift? We saw a great lift shot from David Gocher yesterday. It's in the middle. It just slid away, didn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
And things like Robin Brown. Robin Brown had a third turn ball round against Samir and made a defensive spread. And instead of just taking the defensive shot into corner 4, Samir shot at the ball on the west boundary and gifted Robin
Yes.
an easy finish.
Yes.
And so Robin sort of got into the tournament by actually playing a third turn break is really good.
You're not
Then-
going to win this playing badly.
No.
but you can play well and not win it,
Yeah.
and usually the person who wins has had a bit of luck, or an assist from one or more opponents.
Absolutely. I remember Robert Fulford and myself played at Heaton Park in the President's Cup, and we both got 6 out of 14, and we both said we'd played worse and won the event. I had a sextuple and a 4th term finish in that event for my 6 out of 14.
Well, I remember that event because you started making a note of the length of shots that had been hit against you.
I had 200 yards on day 1. It was scary. And to be fair, the lawns were beautifully flat. People did hit their shots very, very straight against me. But I'd do things like, I'd have a 6-yarder to finish, or I'd have a 1-footer to make a leave.
Yeah.
And I'd play the 1-footer and I'd make the leave and I'd hit the 30-yard shot and finish. So next up we've got David Goacher. I thought David Goacher was playing Mulliner now. Perhaps we've got that wrong.
It did look like Stephen.
So Goacher v Mulliner is in play now. So Goacher v Mulliner is definitely not the next game on. And has
Unless
Stephen,
they've got a peg down game.
oh, you don't play pegged out games in the middle of a
Well,
day.
you'd hope not, but
So we'll just have a little break now until we can get the next game on and potentially get an early lunch. It could be a little while before that game's finished.
but you won't miss any of the action.
We'll
will
be
you?
back
Will they?
as soon as Lawn 4's in play again.
Indeed.
So while we have this pause, we'll just keep the pictures running. At some point we will change the session, but I don't want to do that yet, just in case the play resumes on Lawn 4. So we'll keep the pictures going, and I can update you either with an update on the mic or through messaging as an overlay. So we've decided to close this live stream session whilst there's an extended break for lunch. I can't give you an exact timing of that, but as soon as play resumes, we'll open the session 2 and look forward to your company very shortly. Thank you.